Excited that I get to talk with you, Jerry. I've been a longtime fan since Last Comic Standing. I know that's dating both of us.
Yeah.
However, I'm really excited on a personal level that we get to chat. But I'll get to that part later. Right now, we're here to talk about Animal Control, which is super funny, and I'm so excited for people to get to watch it here shortly. How was Templeton originally described to you? Or should I even first ask, how did this project come to you?
Yeah, it was well, how the project came. I was fortunate enough to work with Rob, Bob, and Tad on the Moody's, which was a Fox series. And that's where we first met. So they kind of kept in touch with me and vice versa. And when this opportunity came up, we connected again. And it was I was so happy to hear from them, and I love working with them on the Moody's, and I loved working with them on this and everybody else. So that's kind of how it happened. And I kind of knew Templeton Dudge was the nemesis of Frank, Joel McHale, and just a bit of a doofus that came in and out of their precinct a lot, and just a jerk. So a fun jerk, I guess. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. The character is written very well and made my job very easy. And it's such a strong cast led by Joel, and I just had a great time, and I hope it does really well. I'm excited to see it because I haven't seen it, and yeah, fingers crossed. It's a great group.
Well, the old adage is never work with children or animals, but I guess you're escaped from that as Templeton in this particular version. But Animal Control does have quite the animal hilarity. Were you on set whenever the animals were around, or did you thankfully avoid that?
I wouldn't say thankfully avoid it. I think it'd be really cool. I was on set for a cow episode, and I actually really liked it. I'm fascinated by the animals they got. It probably would have been a little awkward holding a snake or messing around with a kangaroo like Ravi did, but I didn't really get to deal with a lot of the animals other than the cow, and not the most exotic of our animal cast members, but it's a nice cow. Very, very good actor. Yeah,
A professional, showed up on his cues.
Yeah, mood when he had to. I keep saying a he cow would be not a good thing on the set, because those are called bulls, I found out. And we don't want bulls. They're not as fun to work with, a little aggressive. So
temperamental.
He was great.
Well, this is such a hilarious series, and I was wondering, was there much room to improv when it came to being on set? But I know you mentioned the scripts were just so well written.
Yeah, there's always room, I think, any comedy. When you have people that funny like Joel and Michael and everybody, Ravi and Gracie and everybody else. Vela was Kelly, who's also Canadian. There was a lot of room to try to do that, but I think when the scripts are as tight as they are, you limit that, and we didn't. And I was in a lot of scenes with Joel. I would follow Joel's lead, right? Like if he's very great at improvising, and if he added a little bullet or a little line here, we would try to play with it. I love to do that too. So he was great to kind of lead the way on that for me. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's a ton of improv. I would say it's pretty scripted, and yeah, it was they did a great job of the writing, so it worked very well.
I have to ask, was it a challenge for anyone in particular to hold it together during those super funny moments during filming, especially maybe around the animals?
Yeah, I think it's anytime you're on a comedy with people like that, or it's always hard to hold it together. I had a scene with Michael that he and I were having a tough time getting through it. and it's always fun when that happens, when you break, as we call it in a comedy. It's fun, but you try not to. It really does get hard sometimes to get back into character, and it slows down things. So, but thankfully there was a scene where Joel goes off and makes this scene very funny, and luckily I wasn't in frame, but I was laughing pretty hard. So there's a lot of that. But when you're in the scene and you're trying to get to your lines, it's not ideal, but sometimes it happens.
Well, there is a teaser for the cow scene in the trailer. Are there some other memorable moments or maybe episodes that fans should keep an eye out for? Of course, being ready to tune into the entire series, but are there some standout moments you had from filming, or maybe episodes that people should keep an eye out for?
I mean, I really thought it was all really good. I'm not in it. I'm not in it as much to see all the scenes. I know there's a lot of the scenes I'm anxious to see. That one scene where Joel goes off. I don't know, I want to say too much, but that's really funny. But anytime we were all together in a scene, and it wasn't often for me, they were in it a lot. I was kind of popping in and out. Those were fun. But there's so many great storylines in every episode. There's so much funny and comedy in every episode. I know for me, there was that one scene where with Michael Rowland, that we had a scene together in doing a workout. I'll call it a workout, and we were having a lot of fun. So that scene for me, because I was in it and I know it well, was another scene that I'm really excited to see. But Michael's kind of new to the scene of this, and what a great addition. Just a great actor, and just so lovable on and off screen. It's going to be fun to watch how he does. And the rest of us have done a lot of stuff, and it was great to see how he took on this role and just killed it. So, and him and Joel were so good. Frank DeCarry, they were so good together as a pair. It's anytime I got to watch their little antics was great.
Well, I think this one is a super funny series. It's going to give viewers the little laugh tears that you get when you start, breaking into those moments that give you so much hilarity. What do you think it is about Animal Control that's going to make it a fast fan favorite show?
I think when you can put that many funny people together on a show, you're very lucky. And I think that's the strength of it. When you get Joel as your lead, it's a great place to start. He's so funny and so nice, as some people don't always know what goes on behind the scenes of shows, and your lead can be one way or another. And Joel was just super warm and super funny and super kind to everybody, and that trickles down. So I think the strength of the cast and the writing is going to create this really good show. I hope a great show that, but I have only seen what I'm in and I've read it all, but I've only seen the parts I'm in. I'm excited to see it like everybody else, but I do know the stuff I was in was very funny. The stuff I got to watch when I was maybe in the next scene, I'd come early, was really funny. And that's the cast, right? The cast are just strong. And when you have strong writing and a strong cast and strong directing, and it's a good formula. And I think the animals add a lot to it. It's a very unique, I've never seen a show like this. And I think when you're in the world of sitcoms, it's hard to find something that's never been done. And I've never seen a workplace comedy around animal control officers that, kind of work with the animals. So it's pretty unique.
Well, I gushed a little bit earlier about being a Last Comic Standing fan, and I will tell you that in my house, we continue your bit about how you were a teacher and you were teaching kids about reading and the BR and the Hone. It's still a relevant topic in my house, which I'm sure is odd for you a little bit, but also impressive. I'm going to give myself a little bit of props for remembering that at least hilarious comic bit all this time. Have you kept in touch with any of your fellow Last Comic Standing alums? And what did it mean to you to be a part of the series?
Yeah, I kept in touch with everybody. Amy for a bit, and then Amy, I think, just got really big, and that wasn't really in touch more. But John Reed probably the most. Lavelle, quite a bit. But yeah, we all kind of have shared texts over the years or messages. It was a great time in my life. It was my first time on US television, and it really helped me. You know, it helped me in Canada because I chose to come back. And you know, that was 2007. So we're 15 years. It's hard to believe, but that was a big point of my career, to get that far on that show, because it just had so many eyeballs on it. And that's what this is all about, is trying to, you know, especially for a Canadian that's trying to make it in the US, getting on in the US television is huge. And, you know, this show is no different. This is a great opportunity for me to showcase what I do and what I've done. And now you just sit back and hope, you first hope the show does well, and then you just hope you can continue to kind of add to it if you're involved, and slowly build your brand for me in another country, right? Which is the US. But Last Comic started a lot of that. And, you know, in hindsight, I could have stayed there and probably built a US sort of resume, but I was just, you know, starting a family in Canada, and it was, it was a decision I made to come back and stay here. And, but I'm always grateful for what that show did.
I got an email today from Showtime that said Lavelle has his first comedy special coming up in February. So I think this is a perfectly timed conversation with you.
He is very funny. Man, I had a lot of good laughs with Lavelle. We did a tour after the tapings, the TV portion. So we spent a lot of time together, and, you know, so happy to see his success. But he's a great guy. So that's great to hear. And I'll have to send him a note when I see it and congratulate him.
Well, I mean, this was such a big jump off for you. And now you're doing so many things. You're on screen, doing lots of comedy work in your own right. You're a host of a game show. What else have you been busy working on?
I just wrote a book. So that's going to come out. You probably won't see it in America, but it'll come out in Canada. And that was fun. I'd written a book earlier in 2012, and I don't think it was very good. I think this one's a little better. So just some sort of anecdotal stuff about my life in stand-up and my life. And, you know, that's kept me busy. I just handed that in. So that's in the final stages. And then I do a stand-up tour here. I'm going to start adding some US dates, probably late 2023 or early next year. So, but it's it's trickier in the US. You know, I'm not 30 years old anymore. I'm like, I'd love to try to break into the US stand-up market, but my kids are right in that busy wheelhouse of 10 to 15. So I like to try to get to all their sporting events and all their school functions. So we'll see, but I definitely want to start adding some US to my stand-up. So after that, I'll go back to Family Feud Canada in the fall. Hosting that show has been just a dream job as well. And yeah, and then just hope everything continues. You never know what's around the corner in this business.
Are there some specific stand-up comics you think we should keep an eye out for in the future?
Well, I would keep an eye on Michael Rowland. He's a stand-up comic, and I think he's going to blow up in many ways. So I would certainly keep an eye out for him. You're going to see him on Animal Control, but know that he does stand up on this, not on the side as well. And I think he's just really funny. And I think he's about to really, take things to another level in stand-up and in acting. And he's a great guy, so I'm really happy for him.
Well, you're a part of social media. Are you ready for the instant fan feedback you're going to be receiving to Animal Control and those funny bits that I'm most looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the job. The feedback you always hope is good, but it's not. People just love to say negative things, but I focus on the positive stuff. Yeah, that's part of the job. It's a good part of the job. If they're talking about you, that's a good thing. If they're talking about the show, that's a good thing. You will never please everybody in comedy and drama, I guess, too. It's just not possible. So yeah, I think that's one of the exciting things about doing a show, especially a show like this. I mean, this is such a big show for me, especially because, I had a show in Canada and it was a lot of fun and it did well, but America's just so much bigger. So I'm excited to see what that feedback is like. And so far I've heard great things and good reviews, and people are excited about it, and they should be.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the wonderful work you do, whether it's hosting, whether it's your stand-up comedy, whether it's your golf game, things like that?
Golf game. That is good. You have your information. Golf is my second love.
Yes, I saw you.
I just hope they get a chance. What's that?
I saw you're a 2 handicap.
I was, not anymore. That's probably somewhere old on the internet. I'm probably a 5 now. I just hope people watch this Animal Control and they enjoy it and spread the word of it. There's nothing more rewarding as an actor when people like your work. So I think we're all hoping for that. We all feel really good about it. And I hope if I come down to the States and do stand-up, you'll come check it out, because it's awkward if there's like 9 people in the theater. It's really tough to do stand-up. And I've had that. So I don't want to do that again.
We're not moving backward. We're only going forward, Gerry.
No more back. Go forward.